The worlds of video games and pro wrestling once had a very fruitful relationship with a plethora of digital renditions of the in-ring and at times out-of-the-ring action, including multiple variations of WWE's programming. But as the dynamic of pro wrestling changed during the early 2000s, so did the amount of wrestling games available. Philadelphia-based promotion CHIKARA looks to change that issue with the company's latest attempt in providing the intergalactic, comic book style action the promotion is known for, with a gameplay style reminiscent of some of the great wrestling games from the past. Having taken part in the online beta experience, the gameplay left me excited about the full game, even if the online functionality and obvious technical issues were definitely worrisome. There's actually not much to complete in regards to this game. With no sort of story or career mode, the only real completion opportunities come with leveling up the player's profile by finishing matches that allows for the unlocking of a few wrestlers as well as post-match taunts. With the rather lacking features, I simply played through all the modes, tested out the extensive creation suite Wrestle Factory, and utilized the online components, including playing against a fellow CHIKARA fan and downloading the impressive created wrestlers in the custom arenas, like a tribute to the old Hasbro toy ring that I had as a kid. This completion task took around 5 hours to accomplish, with 2 of those hours simply trying to get an online match. Realizing just how overly complicated wrestling games have gotten over the last decade, the developers at Vico Game Studio wanted to invoke the spirit of wrestling games from a bygone era. The basis of arcade action wrestling's gameplay is rooted in using the strike and grapple buttons to do everything. Tapping or holding the grapple button will allow for the player to perform a quick or strong collar and elbow tie-up respectively, with the character in control of said lockup being able to follow up with an attack by hitting the grapple button with or without the D-pad or arrow keys. Performing the same attacks will create reversal situations for the opponent. Striking not only can stop grapple attempts if timed properly, but can also stun the opponent for a follow-up big attack. By hitting both the strike and grapple buttons at the same time on a downed opponent, executes submissions that, if the opponent's health is low enough, can result in a submission victory. The combo of hitting the grapple and striking buttons while standing over one of the multitude of weapons that can be placed around ringside, including a trash can actually full of trash, a table that can be set on fire, and even lightsabers, will pick up said item, though a fallen opponent can't be struck with a weapon. Movements such as leaving the ring, climbing the turnbuckles, or even blocking are simplistic as well, with the latter being useful against strikes. Finishers are only activated when an opponent's health is at critical, but aren't limited to one usage and can be utilized infinitely. One of the best gameplay implementations is the usage of power-ups. When mid-match challenges called spots appear at the bottom of the screen, the successful execution of said spots will produce power-ups that can be collected and activated when need be, such as boosting the effectiveness of grappling, making it harder to be pinned, and even regenerating health. Some buffs like said health boost can be automatic and may mean the difference between being hit with a finisher or turning the tides of momentum in the player's favor. Power-ups definitely add to the arcade nature this game is going for in the best way possible. Unfortunately, for as fun as the action is bell to bell, there's not much else to do other than singles and multi-person matches. Tag team matches, both 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, are held under tornado rules. Battle Royal bouts can have up to 8 people in the ring at one time, but eliminations are only associated with the character's health bar and not some minigame like what's seen in WWE games. There are no stipulation matches like cage or 2 out of 3 falls bouts. Titles can be challenged for, but with no record system or even entrances, championships really don't matter. Online is both rewarding and disappointing. The most important aspect of online grappling is terrible at best and horrific at worst, with laggy connections animation issues being more prominent online, and the most profound problem of simply finding a match. Add that to the fact, as of right now, the only match type available for online competition is singles, which may be for the best considering how long it would take to find 3 people for a tag match online. On the opposite end of the spectrum is being able to download wrestlers and arenas created by gamers who are incredibly talented at what they do. The creation suite in AAW can allow for anyone with some patience and creativity to create whatever comes to their mind, including actual wrestlers from the past and present, or even the most absurd wrestlers, like a number 2 pencil. Players are limited to 60 downloads a day, which is so much more giving than what WWE games offer for the same thing. As of now, CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling is a fun experience locally, between friends who grew up playing wrestling games during the 16-bit era, or someone who has the knack for creating wrestlers so others can enjoy. But the amount of stuff that needs to be worked on and added to so the game feels fulfilling definitely leaves a lot to be desired. In a world where quality wrestling games are incredibly rare, including WWE's digital offerings, CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling impresses with an old-school presentation from an in-ring perspective. Sadly, those are the only positives right now. A lack of match types, online being an effort and futility when trying to find a bout, and some technical issues definitely hurts the overall enjoyment. While it's financially beneficial for those not looking to spend more than $20 on a wrestling game, it's definitely smarter to just wait and see if the developers add more or fix some of the game's core problems, like the patch released that helped the hit detection in multi-person matches. But don't expect this to feel like an electrifying experience in its initial form.